Hi, welcome. So this is like the first of four that a person asked to review in terms of live albums. So this one, of course, is the Alice Cooper show, the live one. I just jotted down some notes here. Released in 1977, part of the King of the Silver Screen U.S. tour that went through the U.S. and Canada. And this album showcases concerts at Vegas itself, which was recorded. This album to me, like, obviously I'm going to get through all the songs. This is probably going to be a relatively short review, considering the fact that, I'm not going to reiterate the same, point by point basis on these songs since I already have. I would say, though, that this album, Alice seems tired. You know, I've never really heard from people, like, to me, like, before I even listened to this album, the few times that I've heard it be talked about by some people, it's kind of like a throwaway. You use it in the fire pit when you run out of logs to burn. So I never really gravitated towards it until, like, obviously this time. But you know, to me, on this album, he sounds his most comfortable when it comes to ballads, which there were three of them. And that reminds me, so I saw the Steve Hunter website about this tour, and there were a few more tracks that were played that aren't on this album. Such tracks like Lace and Whiskey, and I believe it's Hot Tonight as well. Even maybe King of the Silver Screen. So you did have some tracks on Lace and Whiskey. The album that they're supposed to be touring on. But for whatever reason, it didn't make it. I don't know. I mean, obviously, Alice Cooper was high at this point, and Warner Brothers probably would have been more than glad to have a double LP of it. I would assume, but with this album, like I said, he sounds his most comfortable in terms of a ballads. There are 11 tracks on here. 3 are ballads. One is, and then like another song, I should say, is only 1 minute long. And I find that throughout sometimes he sounds strained to the point that it's like, man, can I still go on this tour? Because, I mean, obviously, Lace and Whiskey, this is during a time where, his alcohol, subsequent years of abusing it is just gotten to the point that he's just, completely tired and just out of it. Which you can kind of hear on some of these songs. In fact, he even changes up some of the lyrics, like specifically 18, to both fit this Lace and Whiskey theme as well as a potential, obviously calling out to what he's feeling. I will say, though, that this album, while it's not my favorite, there are a few duds in terms of, maybe how things sound, some things I don't really care about. I would say, though, this album, to me, what makes it is Dick Wagner and Steve Hunter. Without them, I think this album is a complete afterthought, considering that there are far greater LPs in terms of live material for Alice Cooper. Without them, like I said, this album will probably just be an afterthought. But with them, they definitely make it. They definitely elevate some songs here that might have just been good to begin with or were lacking, and had it not been for those two guys doing solo pieces or just overall playing, would rather be, considering lacking. But the album itself, well, let's get started. Open up with Under My Wheels. You get, which the first time I heard this, I was like, oh wow, is this going to be like a Bob Ezrin production, to which, almost a Kiss Detroit City, to where you got sound effects left, right, and center. Obviously Welcome to My Nightmare Goes to Hell has that as well, considering the fact that this album opens up with a sound effect of a phone. Now, this tour has no photos or live material. There is one of Alice Cooper dressed up as like Maurice Escargot. Whether or not that is live, I'm not too sure, but of course it does fit the time. But I have read that the stage is like a TV screen, and that it transitions between either dancers or Alice Cooper, which is one thing I want to bring up. This album cover, I don't really think reflects at all what the album itself is. You don't get these visions of Cyclops or guillotines or nooses or electric chairs. You do get, obviously, as you see on there, the Maurice Escargot vibe that's going on. But in terms of what makes Alice Cooper on stage, I think it rather lacks in terms of a visual sort of mental picture when you're listening to this. This album sounds, I mean, I think it is rather fitting that this concert was filmed and was recorded in Vegas, because it gives this Vegas showmanship like it's this elegant theater concert outside. You know, maybe you have a grand piano there in the center and, you know, folks are there. But in any case, for the song Under My Wheels, like I said, you got the sound effect of the phone. Folks are cheering, obviously, it's live. I know Kiss has a thing a little bit with their lives, how like they kind of went back and touched up some stuff, maybe elevated a sound, maybe added one to that I don't know regarding this album. But then you get some almost Lace and Whiskey guitar playing in here, something that you hear on the album. And then you, of course, get the classic Under My Wheels riff, you know, and then telephone is ringing. So that was great. Piano play is throughout here. I can't even recall if I've heard that on the original song. You know, maybe if I go back and listen to it, it might be there. But considering that piano is pretty prevalent on these tracks, I would consider it a new add-on. Again, that's just me, just thinking right now. There are some fun guitar plays in the middle. Drums do gain speed at various parts. This is another one to where Alice, you know, he does have the raspiness and, you know, singing, etc., but you're almost wondering to a point that, like, oh, obviously it does feel like a bit of a burnout that I've talked about before repeatedly. So for what it is, it's a decent live transition. You know, he does fine. The guitarist work. The ending does not repeat on the lines, wheels, 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 wheels. It instead, he elevates the words, wheels, to which he does on some songs. He likes to elevate certain words. In fact, even Black Widow, which I would get to, he takes over the role of the kids and sings it in a high tone that I think is rather annoying. But for what it is, you know, Under My Wheels, it's fine. For 18, this one is going to be like, I think it's I Only Cry, I believe, and Sick Things, to where it is almost, it's almost like an abbreviation, a constricted, trimmed version of the song. There are some songs on here that are either missing a chunk of chorus, various lines, downright cut in half. This one has that for a bit. I feel like trying to remember back, I think it does get rid of some material on here. It keeps the basic structure of what it means to be 18 like the song. He still carries that defeated, war-torn like attitude of things that go on once you get to 18, that this milestone. But again, for the instruments itself, there's great feed from them, just hitting right off the intro. There's this electrical play going along, as well as with the original classic 18 vibe. He sounds good on the song, like I said. And, for me, obviously the biggest thing you hear in terms of a change on this song are the lines, Mom and Dad got him drinking beer, and then he gives it this raspy snarl of, makes him sick. Obviously, that works considering that this is the tour for Lace and Whiskey. I thought it was kind of interesting to change it up, but there are more guitar plays going on. Like I said, obviously all of this is going on with, Baby's Brain, Old Man's Heart, took 18 years to get this far. So the core concept of it all is still here, just alibi some pieces that got replaced by the Mom and Dad got him drinking beer. He can sing in this wheezing tone at times. I've heard on this song, almost like an asthma tone to him. Again, whether or not he chose to do that or just that's how he sounds at this point. I mean, obviously, this is 77. Next year, he's already in the asylum to get clean for alcohol addiction. There's more great guitar play as the instruments close things out. So, for what it is, I thought it was very decent. Alright, this one is the first of three in terms of ballads. This one being Only Woman Bleed. The intro, you would think you were at a Bon Jovi concert because as soon as the piano starts, a bunch of women start screaming. So I just thought it was kind of funny, but obviously, it's a very pivotal song. Don't get me wrong there. But like I talked about earlier, he sounds so much more comfortable doing these type of songs on this album. Ballad, he sounds, very normal, very strong. I don't know, just at that point to where it's like, this is the most comfortable for my vocals, my throat and stuff like that. I don't know, he just sounds more engaged, more in tune, more just sort of normal on these ballad songs. But in any case, of course, he's singing the melodic ballad tone that it is, but, it's obviously in that sad, defeated, almost disdain, look behind the curtain, here's what's going on vibe to it. This song, as well as a couple other ones, do get co-sung on various lines, so they get co-sung, and then Alice finishes off the line just by himself. There is, of course, the classic build-up, which I always enjoy on this song, in the middle of the instruments, the drums, and then the guitars, how they build up to like the second verse of it when he starts repeating it. It is a little laid back, same thing with the voice, however it still works, like I just said, you're not going to get that, because for what this is, it's more of a somber tone, it's more of a somber, illusion song on this one, as opposed to the pissed off version of the second half. It's more just disdain throughout this entire song, the way that they reiterate it here. He first finished it off in terms of the voice with, watch me bleed, and then instead of the, the guitars or something going the dun dun dun, he replaces it with yeah, yeah, yeah. Maybe like a little bit hard, but, it's alright. And then they finish a soft singing of the title, Only Women Bleed. And then there's like the backing vocals and guitar play as well. So it is, I did enjoy this version of it. Like I said, for what it is, he just sounds his best on here when he's doing ballads. The next one is Sick Things. Man, what a, what a tease, I suppose. For me, it's like you get into the song. I mean, it's just got the same creepiness as the official release. Sick things in cars rotate round, and just the instruments carry just that creepy echo vibe that you got throughout the officials. And then, he enters that chorus piece of, why he loves them, the way you look at me, as much as you love me, it just makes my day, etc. However, it's only a minute long. I feel like it ends rather abrupt, and, I get like the little, like a little joke vibe to it, like, oh, hey, let's put Hello Hooray as the second to last song on here. Not that I'm saying it does here, but, just as a joke to where that would have been the first song, but, let's just do it here. Sick Things in the middle. But I just kind of scratch my head and go, where's the rest? It's a 2.5 minute song. This one is, realistically, it's only 59 seconds. I would have liked to have heard the second chorus. Well, obviously, it does repeat and stuff, but, fuck it, who cares? So, yeah, this one, like, for what it was, what it presented to itself, I really enjoyed. It sounded very true to the original. And I'm not one to say that a live version has to be note for note similar on an official release. Fuck no, of course not. Just the way it presented itself. I don't know. I felt like it was severely lacking, given the fact that it's really only half the song. All right, so you come back with a song from Love It to Death, that being "Is It My Body." This I wrote down, maybe I'm a little harsh, I don't know, but the voice seems a bit strained. Again, you do get that tiredness vibe through it all, which, maybe correlates with like why people have such a problem with it. Again, I don't really know. I haven't really heard much in terms of opinions on this album. Just sometimes when I hear people talk about it, it's like trash. Not the album trash, but they illustrate it as like garbage or whatever. But I've never heard somebody say why they think it is, so I'm just kind of piecing two things together here. A while ago, when I was trying to find information on Dada, I asked like, oh hey, did like anybody see this when it came out back in '83? And somebody said like, yeah, they're essentially with the Alice Cooper Live Show album. So it's like, okay, is it the $5 Walmart bin where you just throw 20-year DVDs in there? This being that, I don't know. I mean, I think to call this album downright shit or downright trash, I think is pretty harsh. In terms of greatness to just downright shit, I place this fair. Does it lack at spots? Sure. Is it his best? Of course not. However, for what it it is decent overall. I do get some enjoyment out of it. Just if you were to present to me his discography of live material of this one, I wouldn't choose, the first off for sure. But for the song "Is in My Body," at least he carries all the lyrics. And he plays with his voice when the chorus happens. He gets higher as each word progresses. And then, the bass follows when he's singing the lines, "Who I really am." I did like the bass part with the boom, 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 boom. I did like that part. And then he does sing, which you do hear on the song, the official song, that that type of vibe to it. He sings along with the guitar chords. So for what it is, I thought it was decent. Alright, this one is the ballad "I Never Cry." So this one reminds me a lot of the music video that is out for "I Never Cry." I don't know much of the history on that video. It seems as almost it's like a what would you call it? Just like a music award. Like it gets the presence of the Oscars, but obviously, this is in terms of music. Because like there's like a bunch of people sitting. He's up on like a grand stage and he's singing this song. It's the reason why I bring that up is because it's a shortened version of it. I want to say 2.5 minutes. I think the longest songs on here is 6 minutes and 50 seconds. However, that's I'll get to that obviously. Because half of it's like instrumental, so I think in terms of like a vocals, it's probably maybe Billion Dollar Babies. I'll have to double check again, but whatever. It's like 2.5 minutes, and for what it is, it presents itself as like obviously a fight with alcohol. Take away my eyes, break away a heart. Sometimes I'd rather be blind. Just stuff like that. That is the song itself. It is sung in that low ballad, like again, that he seems to be most comfortable at. He is again co-sung in terms of the chorus. Instruments are the piano and the soft bass guitar. And like I said, just the premise of it, like you get the point of, of like the drinking that's going on here. So it's almost like the first half of the song, like the official song, they just sing the first half of it. For what he is though on this song, I think he did a good job. For the next one, "Billion Dollar Babies," you get that classic build up and riff, which was nice to hear. Like the past few songs has been, soft obviously, but it's nice to just get back right into business, or in terms of a hard rock approach. You do got the raspy tone in him, a hammer in the line of the title, "$1 billion baby." that I really did enjoy. And then of course, he's speeding up the parts after that in terms of the lines. I really love. The chorus itself is fun. I mean, obviously this is nothing new. You hear it on every tour, but it was fun to hear. The best way I can describe it is this pulse-like movement between the vocals and the guitars. So, we go dancing nightly in the attic. So, like I said, the pulse, and then the pulse is like the guitar beats. It's a nice play, obviously, since it's not co-sung, obviously, by Donovan, or just not co-sung in general. So it was nice to hear that, if it would have been, that's how it sounds like, just that offbeat, sharing between the two, which I really did enjoy. The song ends in this, roughed out tone of, $1 million, baby. It's not so much, I mean, obviously, here comes the sun. I know the Nightmare Returns Alice Cooper from the post, Nightmare Returns Alice Cooper. The pre is this sick, twisted victim, which is what you can hear on various parts of here. And, specifically to me, in terms of this example, $1 Billion Babies, is that last part. Just the sort of defeated, $1 million baby, then billion. He doesn't sing zillion, though. He just ends it at billion. Whereas today's Alice Cooper, Constrictor onwards, he would have been, fucking hammering that $1 million baby. So you can definitely see that the contrast between the two based off of, obviously pre and post. But for what it is, I did enjoy it, especially the chorus parts with that pulse-like movement. Alright, we then enter Devil's Food / Black Widow. Oh man, I was disappointed on this one. It's like Devil's Food, you got the build up, and I'm just waiting for him to scream out, "Get ready for the lady." Instead, we don't get that. Why not? Instead we get Devil's Food at various parts. That's it in terms of the lyrics for the song. You get the instrumental play throughout, but in terms of vocals, no ready for the lady, no set her slightly too ready. I understand it's a very short song, but son of a bitch, I would have liked to have heard more than 3, Devil's Food high-pitched tones. It does lead into, of course, Vincent Price's part. However, what's cool is that this is a new rendition. It's not like they just copy-pasted it every single time they're on stage. This one, he skips all the Steven parts, and it's just like right to the Black Widow, poison, X times deadlier, and then, of course, eats him into sleep, after marriage, propose that, man is ruled as a stumbling child, all that stuff. He does quite well. Obviously, it's Vincent Price, no shit. And then just for what it is, the Vincent Price part is the A in this one. The stuff before it, I just say a D. The instruments are good, but, the vocal parts, obviously, very, very lacking. But in terms of Black Widow itself, at least he says the intro of the song, these words he speak are true. We're all human Aries stew if we don't pledge allegiance to the Black Widow. So that was cool to hear, at least. Instruments heavy, the voice sounds mean. And then he drops the ball for me. When he tries to do the chorus, he tries to replace the children's vocals, the love me, yes, we love me. To me, because I think if he would have kept the raspiness while doing the high voice, that would have worked. But instead, it's just a straight up high vocal tone. He's not terrible at it, don't get me wrong. He's fine at it. It's just that, to me, it just sounds rather annoying. I would have liked to have heard it what it is now, to where he's just that gruff, down on your throat, love me. I would have preferred that version, that gruff raspiness, yelling, as opposed to the high pitch. Let's see if I can make my voice sound like a 10-year-old. But that's just me. He's much better at this song with the evil tone. There are some great guitar playings going on in this song, that's for sure, as well as a solo piece. Just again, just Dick Wagner and Steve Hunter are just fucking magic, you know. And it's a shame that Dick Wagner's passed on. And then obviously they just, you know, tear it down when the song ends. So, not my favorite rendition. You know, half of it I enjoy, half of it's either severely lacking or just should have gone on in a completely different direction. Alright, the last ballad, let me double check. Yeah. The last ballad on this one is You and Me, which obviously makes sense. I've never heard this one live, so this one was the first. You're obviously back to this ballad soft tone. This is another one. This is another one to where it is a shortened version of it all. Co-sung again at various parts. It sounds great though. That's what I wrote down here, is that it sounds dead on like the original release. So that was awesome to hear. While it is a shortened version, what's on it works. You get the premise of, you know, baby, let me take you out, you know, make my day complete, you know, go and watch some TV, eat some popcorn. You know, while I'm laying on bed, you know, you're dreaming, I'm laying staring at the ceiling, you know, I'm going to take you to heaven, make my day complete. So the premise, you know, the specifics of it, the overall story of the song, it is condensed quite well. You know, and for what it is, it's fine. You know, I find that this album is more, I get the impression that it's trying to really branch out to a wider general audience based off of the fact that you now have 3 ballads on this album, whereas realistically you might only get 1 ballad, you know, Only When We Bleed, or, you know, I'm talking about like today's standards, of course. You know, they have 3 ballads on an 11 track, you know, album. You know, I kind of feel that as like branching out, but hey, you know, fuck it, who cares, right? For what it is, I thought it was fine, and you know, it sounds nice. Again, dead on like the original. Alright, this one is a multitude of I Love the Dead / Go to Hell / Wish You Were Here, kinda sorta nada. But for I Love the Dead, you get this, you know, obviously just that creepy intro, and his voice is the same. Just that twisted, you know, phantom look in the shadows feel. You know, I love the dead when they're warm. You know, just that feel to it. You know, lovers mourning, saying goodbye. I have other uses for you. You know, just great stuff. He does get the high pitch for I Love the Dead. It is a lot better than the Black Widow simply because he still carries the raspiness in his tone that to me works very well, obviously. There are some fast guitar playing, obviously, as he's just repeating the chorus of I Love the Dead. You know, it doesn't finish off the lines of, you know, I love the dead before they're cold. You know, cadaverize. You know, that it doesn't have it on there. You know, which is fine. You know, I don't really care. Fast guitar playing, and then like, you know, everything stops, and then builds up, and then the chorus comes back again with I Love the Dead, and then that bleeds into Go to Hell. You just get that bouncy like atmosphere that was the intro, is the intro, and his voice, you know, it's got the strutter like attitude to it, you know. You know, for drinking, disobeying, being a brat, you know, refusing to act your age, giving a diabetic a candy cane, you know, you stole, you know, blind man's cane. And then, of course, you know, he gets that snarl for, you're something that never should have happened. You even make your grandma sick. So that was cool to hear. Then you get the instrumental play through it all. And then that transitions to the instrumentals of Wish You Were Here, which is actually kind of fun. You know, the first time hearing this one, I actually didn't read the title for some reason. And then once that happened, I was like, oh, that's I Wish You Were Here, you know. Yeah, so that was kind of fun to hear. Obviously, he doesn't sing at all on that song. It's just that little instrumental piece. But yeah, for what it is, you know, maybe my favorite on here, but you know, it's definitely a strong point on this album. This set here. All right, you finish it off with I'm Always Chasing Rain, but no, I'm kidding. Of course, you finish it off with School's Out. This one, holy shit, I saw the time. I was like, wow, that's gotta be a first. It's only 2 minutes and 40 seconds. I was expecting like a 6-minute one, or I think the next live album one, the live the Apollo Theater in Glassnaut. God, I think that's like 15 minutes. So I kind of saw this time on here. I was like, well, I kind of like that. The like to dislike ratio is a fucking killer. I don't really know what's up with that. It's like 150 likes to like 110 dislikes. I don't really know what's up with that, but whatever. It opens up something unique that I haven't heard of, which somebody yelling, "Watch out! Look out! School's out!" So that was something. I do like the voice. It's still hard and raspy. There's no dragging of the lines for the chorus. It's just like hammer hits. None of the "school's out." None of that. It's just "school's out." That type of feel to it. Which he does on the next album, I believe. I know he does it in the Viva, like the Live a Paris version of it. Then again, Coke. But he does drag the lines for the "no more pencils." That stuff's fun. And then, like I said, 240, the shortest song version live that I've heard of. And what stood out to me was I don't know if this was a thing yet, but he didn't end it with introducing the band members. Here's Dick Wagner, here's Steve Hunter, and playing Alice, me. Or sometimes it's Vincent Fournier, so I thought that was kind of interesting. But yeah, you ended off with a very short version of School's Out. Alright, so there you go, the Alice Cooper Show live. Have you heard it? Let me know what you think. Love it, hate it? Otherwise, I'll see you guys next week for Alice Cooper, obviously the live in Glassnaw, so stay tuned for that. Alright, but otherwise, thank you so much for watching, and take care.